Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda is approved. Draft minutes from June 13th meeting. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's approved. Open public comment.
Is there anybody on Zoom, Michael?
We got Phil Anderson and
Keith.
Charlotte Firestone and Keith Whitcomb.
Okay. No open public comment.
No comment.
Guests. Doug Todd from the Chittenden Dammers Trail Coordinator.
Hey, Doug.
Thanks.
So, Doug, I've shared with the board the information that you gave me about the bridge and the trail. So if you want to speak towards that, Amy, you can, and I'm sure the select board might have some questions for you.
You want to do that?
Yeah, might as well knock it out.
I'm the trail coordinator for the Chittenden Dammers Snowmobile Club, and we have some of our trails are on your property, which are in Chittenden. We are in the process of getting a grant from Bass to do some trail work and replace a bridge that's falling down on that property. And we need to get your permission, and there's also a stream alteration permit that we need signatures on to do that. I do have some pictures if you want to see the condition of the existing bridge.
Could we, please?
Yep.
How long has that bridge there been there?
Well, I've been snowmobiling in Chittenden since '92, I think.
Oh, wow.
So,
Did you build that, Ray?
Did you build it, Ray?
Not in Chittenden. I want to run across the bridge.
so this is the existing bridge. Yeah. That's the deck. And then some tread work, trail tread work we want to do, some repairs.
What's
Yeah.
that mean, tread work?
Just the trail itself,
Yeah.
get some excavation work to clean it up. That would be part of the same process.
Is this kind of a main trail? I'm not a snowmobiler.
It is, it's corridor 7A in Chittenden, which is, so we have corridor 7 and 7A, that both of those trails are on your property, part of what we call Proctor watershed. And it's our main connection to the north out of Chittenden. This is also on the property that was for sale, or there was an offer to buy, I'm sorry. So, as far as this part of it, we're just looking for permission from the town, and we need some signatures from the town. We met with the stream alteration engineer, Josh, can't say his last name, and he's approved it. And we met with Evan Smith is the excavation person that we use. He does amazing work.
Out of Chittenden?
He lives in, his family's from North Chittenden, yep. He's done a lot of work for us on the trails. What we use to replace the bridge now is, for anything under 20 feet, this is right at 20 feet, we do a wooden pressure treated frame. They fix the abutments. The club does all the actual construction of the bridge. It doesn't take us too long. And then I think he's got a day or two of excavation work on the trail itself. And I don't have a good map to show you, but it's, I don't know if you're familiar with where the town's been logging up in there. It's just above that would be the section that we're,
Up on the mountain a ways.
it's up, it's below what we call the smoking tree. I can show you that as well. I do have a map of the trail.
Is that the one above the watershed?
It's in the watershed, yeah. So this is the map of Chittenden Trail System. And this is the Proctor watershed. So the trail, it's this trail here, and it's somewhere down in here where that bridge is. Place. So,
Does anybody have any questions?
questions on that?
Alright, so I'm going to ask if there is a motion to approve the landowner agreement and stream alteration permit for construction of a new bridge along the Proctor Water Trail portion of the vast trail system.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. I can report back when it's done if you'd like. We can give you some more pictures of what it's
Sure.
like
If you
afterwards.
just wanted to email, text Michael some pictures,
Sure.
we'd appreciate it.
Yep, and it won't be until later this fall. The grant process from VAST is ending this week. They'll approve it, and then as long as things are approved and we move forward with it, it's gonna be, I think they said like 10 weeks for us to lead time to get the lumber and get it all organized. So we typically do this work in around September, so.
It'll be finished before the snow flies?
Yep. Yeah, this bridge has been needing to get replaced for a while, so. One other thing, and we don't need to get too in-depth with it, but along the lines of that land sale, the potential land sale, we would like to approach the town about the possibility of getting an easement in place. I can get some more information sent to you. Did you give them copies of that?
They've got copies of the vast, I'm not sure what it's called.
It's the Snow Trails Conservancy. They work with VAST, through VAST, on trying to set up easements. They would do all the survey work, and they have all the paperwork in place. And I'm not sure of the whole process. I would just want to give you that letter and see if it's something that you would be interested in at least discussing and moving forward with possibly.
We're willing to discuss almost anything, aren't we?
Yeah.
We'd be glad to discuss.
Okay, I'll let them know that I've given you that letter and see what the next step would be for that, so. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Oh, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have one question. This is above the watershed breakage, right? It's above it.
No,
Let's
below it.
blow it.
It's below it. It's way down.
Yeah, it's, you know what the smoky tree is?
Yep.
At that intersection, the upper trail goes to where the spring is. And it's the lower trail that goes down. And it's just above where you had logged the last section in there, so.
You know, the last town manager took me on a hike up there, field trip, almost killed me.
Yeah, it's a long ways to go hiking and, but we try to keep things cleaned up and, we try to be a good steward of your property up there, so we appreciate the use of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that paperwork, you'll.
I'll sign it, and what I'll do is
Yeah.
I'll just scan it to you, back to your email, if that's okay.
Yep, that'd be great.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
See you, Ray.
Yeah, take it easy.
Okay. Good stuff. Now you have down here Shelby Moody, one of our junior firefighters that graduated from Vermont Fire Cadet Academy this week.
Had a nice picture of her on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's nice. Nancy Kennedy passed. She was good stuff for the town of Proctor for years and years and years, so nice lady. And Carol Alt's been tending our flowers at the Triangle and down in the park here, and flowers are having a good year.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Carol.
Thank you. Highway Department, paving bid solicitation for summer 2022.
Yeah, so I've got bids out and they're due on July 8th and can be found online. They were also posted in the Brandon Reporter.
The Marble Bridge repairs.
I'm waiting on Guy Tedesco to email me back to set up a meeting about the silicone sealant repairs that are needed. I'd also like to get the lamp posts sandblasted and painted before the end of summer. I think that would really kind of make the area look nicer. And I think they really need to be blasted because that scale would probably just eat away anything you put over top of it.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of metal they're made out of, but it doesn't like road salt.
The plan was, I don't really know of any contractors around that can do that, so I was just gonna talk to Guy when he comes and see if he knows. And if anybody has any idea, drop me a line. So when I send out bids, nowadays, you've almost got to be incredibly direct with them. You just can't put them in the paper or anything like that. So if anybody knows of any contractors that can do that kind of work, just send them my way. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll get them out.
Do we have the foreman's report? Anybody have questions regarding that? None?
Nope.
All right.
No, Florence Road looks good, even in the gravel condition.
How long before we get that paved?
Well, I think they're trying to coordinate with Pittsford when they do their paving down through there, but I don't want to push it too far out because these are emergency repairs we need to make. I'm gonna touch base with Brian and see what his thoughts are about it, but I'd be willing to guess late July.
Yeah, they've got a lot there on West Road there to do.
We've got it open, and that was kind of the really important part.
Yes.
So hopefully they understand that paving might need to be a little delayed.
Yeah.
Okay, reimbursement for railroad bridge water line.
This actually came up when our auditor came. It didn't, a lot of things, Stan went on vacation as soon as I got here, so some things didn't make it my way, but I didn't know that we were eligible for reimbursement for the design work that went into the water lines of the bridge. And
That's good.
yeah, so the auditor noticed that, and I jumped right on it and got the invoices together and so submitted a reimbursement for that in the amount of about $15,000. So that would go back into the water fund.
And then the right-of-way maintenance.
And right-of-way maintenance has been a hot topic over the last few weeks. I've been working with quite a few homeowners who are concerned about trees inside of the right-of-way that could pose risk to their property or the safety of others. So John and I went for a ride yesterday to kind of look at some of those and see which ones are ours and which ones aren't ours. And we even found some new trees that were in the right-of-way that weren't supposed to be there and asked people to move them back, and they were very kind and polite about it. And Tom, I noticed it looks like the tree that we saw on Route 3 came down, but maybe V-Trans cut it down, I'm not sure, but remember the one that was leaning over here?
Right.
V-Trans had a contractor cut it down.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, but
Okay.
it just so happens that's where the tree fell during the storm, right there too.
Yeah, so,
And I think John moved that,
okay.
I believe.
So that's been taken care of, and
Thank you.
yeah, and so John's gonna be sending out bids for tree services here this week.
There's a motion to go out of the select board meeting into the Board of Water Commissioners.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Board of Water Commissioners, the Gorham Bridge Water Service Project.
Yep, so this is ongoing. We were hoping to get to it this June, but the crews have been directed elsewhere from the various emergencies we've had. And, John and I spoke today about it. We're planning to get down there in July. I've got one more easement I've got to get from one more temporary easement I have to get. And And that's kind of all I have for the Gorham Bridge Water Service Project, but it'd be nice at the end of July for that to be in the rearview mirror. And that's the goal.
The delinquency report.
I've included a memo in your packets about the reports, but all in all, the report there includes all delinquencies. So this includes fees accrued over the last 120 days, which I was told, whether it was this board or a previous board, wasn't really concerned about delinquencies over 120 days. But this is the most accurate of everyone that's delinquent over $750 to date. And that totals $145,000. I spent a good bit of time trying to understand the delinquencies, understand the delinquency reports, and I've even contacted some other localities surrounding us on what their strategies are for delinquencies. You know, the city of Rutland told me that they don't even shut water off. They just, they make agreements, and if those agreements are broken, or if they get over a certain amount, then they go for tax sale, you know? So, but we're not the city of Rutland, you know, so we might have to operate differently. However, it's something I have been strategizing about and spoke to our attorney with on what our various options could be. I think that the new agreement that we have will help, because I think a little bit of structure kind of sets us up for success. And I'm not sure if that was necessarily there, but I feel confident that we're on a path forward for getting this number down. And we've also been working with residents on applying for VHAP. I'd also like to be a little bit more aggressive towards that, and that's the state and federal funding to help people pay off their delinquencies. And we tell people about it, and you know, they just don't follow through. I'm tempted to just walk around with a laptop, you know, and do it in people's living rooms, but I don't think I have the time. So there's money available. There's a lot of different options. There's tax sale, there's delinquencies, and there's money from the state. So
I think what seems to be one of the weakest part of the past agreements is that there was an agreement and then it was broken, and then another agreement was made, and that's not the way it should be. It should be, you have an agreement, you break it, you're done.
Yes.
And, you know, kind of follow through that way, I think.
And just to be completely clear, this board never said that we didn't care about delinquencies over a certain number of days. We were told there was nothing we could do about delinquencies that were less than a year old. So that's a little different.
okay.
But
Yeah.
it's kind of nice to know, because if they're delinquent at 120 days and they're delinquent at 60, then they're not pulling their end of the bargain in their agreement, because they keep accumulating.
Yeah. And you were, and all you were seeing, you were not seeing what they're delinquent of the last 120 days. So if they hadn't paid their last
Right.
2 bills, you just weren't seeing it. So,
Right.
but now you've got an accurate report, and I think I'll continue sharing that so that we've got the number in front of us and we know it.
Right, right.
I think, you know, and it's a small town, so I understand, but I think there's a lot of residents have become relaxed on paying the bills on time too. So that number under 750 is still pretty high if you add it all up. And, you know, Proctor residents have to come here and pay a lot of bills. You got 4 tax installments, and then you got 4 utility payments to do too. And I'm not sure if it's going to be something that we can move on while Celia is still here, you know, because we would definitely have to coordinate this with the treasurer. But I think it would be very helpful if people could pay online or with a debit or credit card. I mean, I'm surprised people still learn how to write checks.
I agree.
You know?
They should be able to pay
Yeah.
both of those.
It might not help us with the bigger numbers that are on the delinquency report, but it may kind of streamline and help people who, you know, do regularly pay, or just are a little late, well, or a month or 2 late here and there, because they didn't come down to the office and write a check or something.
No, but you can drop it right here and you can mail it, so that's an odd, reasoning for that.
You don't think it'd be helpful for people to have the ability?
I think it, for some people, and there was a pretty substantial conversation at this board before about credit cards and how that might just help people incur larger credit card debts also, because it's easy to put it on your credit card and it doesn't feel like it's really your money. So I think if people aren't paying, I don't think it's because you can't pay by a credit card or a debit card. I think it's because people don't have the money to pay. And I think that's, I don't know. I find that kind of disrespectful to us as a community to say that. So.
Well, I do apologize, and it's not that, and I reiterate, people who owe, a year's worth, I mean, that's not going to fix the problem. They're not coming in here and not paying because they can't do it with a debit card, I'm just trying to streamline the process for those who, want an easier way to pay their fees.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just giving more options on paying so they don't have to stop in. And I think a lot of people can't pay. There's a lot of people who can and choose not to. They choose to pay something else or just not pay at all. So I just think, if we give them options, then hopefully they can at least maintain.
Yeah, because I'm only sharing with you people that are over 750. That number goes up substantially if I include those who are less than that, which is kind of odd, because they're still technically delinquent.
Right. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Okay. So, the O&M manual updates. Source protection plan?
Yes, so the source protection plan was reviewed by the state, and we're now responding to their comments. That's Lincoln Applied Geology. They actually made the revisions and sent it back about an hour before the select board meeting. So that was one of the deliverables we had to fulfill the O&M manual requirements, and Du Bois and King is just waiting for a few documents from John, and then hopefully we'll have that behind us, and our pending application for a permit, water permit, will no longer be pending, and we'll be up to speed.
Good.
And the foreman's water report is in here. Does anybody have questions regarding anything there? Sure.
When I first come here, I never heard of it, I gave you well. And the first thing I did was look at that one, and it's just water coming out of the ground. But nobody seems to take care of it, and because it was 4 years ago I spoke against selling it. I was one of the ones who spoke against it. And I think it's a great thing that we have up there, but nobody ever picks up around it, or the trees, and I'd be willing to do something with it. And I'd like to see some kind of maybe 100-foot fence around it someday. That's what I'd like, but I don't mean you gotta go do it, but I'd like to protect it in some way. Because it's a very rare thing, and my gosh.
Do you mean the whole property?
No, just the spring itself.
Oh.
It's way up near, that's why I asked him about the trail, because there is a trail just above it. And there's another one down below that he was talking about. No, it's just my thought. Yeah, I mean, it costs money to do things today, but I think it would protect it anyway for now, something like that.
You're in. The water, did I already say that?
Well, we got one more thing on the next page, flood resilient communities.
Oh,
Yeah, so following our brand new local hazard mitigation plan, the town has pointed out the need for a generator at the Field Street well. I've located available funds through the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. Application deadline is in September, and we will need to submit a plan to qualify for the cost-benefit analysis portion of the state's application. So it's kind of like we do all our part, we give them all our research, and then they plug it into this cost-benefit analysis model to see if we qualify. I've contacted Du Bois and King, they're already working with us on the O&M manual. They seem to be intimately knowledgeable about our water system. And the match on this is 90-10, which is a really good deal. So I'm going to try to expedite this process so we can submit something and hopefully put a check mark on that action item of our hazard plan.
Great.
So I'm hoping to have an update to you next meeting, and if not, the one after that.
Thank you. All right, if there's nothing further in water, is there a motion to go out of the Board of Water Commissioners and into the Board of Sewage Commissioners?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Board of Sewage Commissioners, the Foreman's report. Does anybody have questions on anything on that?
The only thing I have to add to that is that we had a sewer backup on South Street today, and I looked up the address before. It's past Grove, and it's happened for, it's on the left, like if you're heading out of town. So if you go past Grove, it's a neighborhood on the left. There's a sewer line that runs, and I've seen these in many places in different towns, but there's a sewer line that doesn't really enter onto the town's right-of-way before it goes through multiple properties in front of the house. John and I did a little bit of research, and he went out and shot grade, and it looks like there would be a pretty efficient way of putting in a manhole, running it out the front. So kind of what I'm getting at with this is we've got to update our request for qualifications for our sewage collection system. And I'm meeting with the state this week to start that process. I think after we do that, and I'll let you know after that's, well, I'll let you know when we start doing that. And after we do that, maybe look into getting some kind of boilerplate sketch from them to show us what that would look like so that we can maybe send it out for bids. I don't think it would be a really expensive problem, and it'll solve some maintenance issues that we have now. So,
Did John mention if one of the manholes down at the plant, the spare ones, would work?
yeah, we just got to make sure that the inverts of them
Yeah.
align with whatever the
Yes.
orientation's going to be.
Good.
But we got them there if we need them. And you can always drill a hole, extra hole or something, or patch one up if you had to. So, anyway, so that's kind of, it's not here yet, but I just kind of want to put it on your radar. And
That's, you know, we've had a few sewage backups over the
I know.
years, and I certainly,
yeah,
anything we can do to hold those down is a good thing.
yeah. After we get our RFQ updated, and those are for 5 years, and I think A&E has been ours up to this point. So once we get that updated, then I'll come to you with a more in-depth proposal of that project. Maybe it'd be a next summer kind of thing. But we'll see.
The backup down here, was it on us or the customer?
I don't think it caused any damage, and yeah, I guess were you asking, Tom, was it on us or not?
Yeah, was it on us or is it their fault?
It's hard to tell, because like I said, it runs through multiple properties, so I guess you
Back
could.
up like into their basement, or was it closer to the road?
Well, it doesn't really enter the road, so it comes out their house, and before going to the road, it cuts to the right and goes through 2 front yards, and all of those houses connect to each other.
Yeah.
And so you can pose the argument that it's ours because we maintain it,
Is
but
that-
I don't know if there's a dedicated easement to it.
Is that the old Catholic rectory there, the big hole?
No, I think the other side of,
It's a little bit further.
Further
It's,
south.
it's the house that we did, that just did all the renovations to the
porch.
front.
oh, yeah.
Oh,
The
Porch,
porch
yeah.
and everything.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so if you're standing on her new porch, that service doesn't go out to the road. It jets to the right and goes through multiple properties, and then what we call a blind T, without being able to see it, there's no manhole, it just ties into a main going down Grove, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
So,
But there's a way to check to see if the sewage, the backup was caused by the resident.
but which resident call, it's, the way that runs through there,
The one who had the backup.
I'm not sure that we have to follow through with any more of it. I think it's over. Yeah, they're not, I don't think they're filing a claim or anything.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's
I didn't go too in-depth with
Okay.
questions from that, but if it does, I'll have answers for you next time.
Don't poke the sleeping dog.
All right, sludge removal and liner replacement update.
And, I've already spoken towards this, but we have to update our RFQ. And I spoke with Wayne after our last meeting, and Tom Brown with the state is also helping us out with this. And once we get that RFQ up to date, then we can start some real conversations about applying for this money. Should be here.
Good.
All right,
Something we need to stay on.
Yeah.
anybody have any further questions on sewage? All right, is there a motion to go out of the Board of Sewage Commissioners and back to the Select Board meeting?
So moved.
Second,
Favor?
aye.
All right, managers report.
So I said this last time, but I'll try to make it quick because I've been kind of going on and on. But so interim zoning administrator duties, I'm continuing forward with those. I was on vacation for a good bit of the last 2 weeks, but it was just enough to kind of recharge my batteries and get back in here to it. The local hazard mitigation finance reporting and grant closeout, that was performed, and I almost got everything perfect. But I just need a check number for an invoice that's in your warrants, and then we'll be all done with our local hazard mitigation plan. Regional managers lunch. I had a meal at I think it's called the Rutland Country Club.
Yeah.
All right, and the executive director of VLCT was in attendance, as well as surrounding local leaders. Okay, so I finally figured out a way, with the help of Judy, to put the advertisement for the assistant town clerk, assistant treasurer, assistant town manager on Indeed. And I think within the first 2 days, I must have gotten 15 applications. So I think we've gotten 20 in all. Tricky part about it is only one of them is a Proctor resident. And I know we kind of want someone with the capacity to take over Celia's position once she retires. And at my meeting...
Sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
Whoa.
Sorry.
And at my lunch meeting, I got a new watch. At my lunch meeting, Ted Brady told me about a new law that was passed that allows towns to elect or appoint officials that aren't necessarily from Proctor. And although I'm not suggesting that, I'm just saying that there is that opportunity, and it's not as simple as us just doing it. It's something that's got to go through town meeting. So it's just something to keep in mind as we go through all these applications, especially if we find someone who's highly qualified and looks to be a long-term solution.
I definitely think that's wise to look into, because
Yeah.
the pool out there is not great.
No.
It's hard to get people. So, I mean, if you come up with a strong candidate, it'd be terrible to not be able to.
Yeah. So the position's open until filled. I'm thinking about the first week in July. We'll gather what we have and kind of do a preliminary look over and filter out who we want to interview and go from there.
Would you consider having the office open through the lunch hour, since we have 2 people down there?
I think it's something we can figure out. It will just be talking to Celia. She is well aware that the clerk makes the hours makes their own hours, but I agree it would be nice if it were open all day long, so,
Especially with, you know, working people, it's
Yeah.
a little easier.
I think it's something we can look into.
Great.
All right, tax grievances, there were about 6 grievances. I didn't have a whole lot to do with this, except I thought it'd be a good learning opportunity, and also facilitated the meetings by recording them on Zoom. And I've got the Beaver Pond minutes in your packets there, and the committee voted on having someone make a sculpture out of the tree stump. I think we're leaning towards beaver. But we're gonna see what we can do with it. And then we're also gonna do the Beaver Pond Committee. I say we, because I'm pretty invested. I like the Beaver Pond Committee. So, we're gonna do like a sign, kind of how the state parks have them, designating the pull-off area there as a picnic area. So it's a Beaver Pond picnic area. And you can see it from both sides. So it'd just be wooden with those words etched in it. And Ray, you've got stencils, right? And we're gonna stencil some equipment. Cool.
You mean for down below, right?
The picnic area.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, and Ray's got a stencil made, and so if stuff's stolen, we know it's ours.
We've gotten a few questions, the Beaver Pond Committee, about fishing and swimming at the south end. And the sign that's down there now, we believe states that if someone's fishing and swimmers come, the fisherman has to move along. So we consider that adequate. It's
Yeah,
been that
because I
way
think a
for
lot of people
years.
fish at that tail end too, even, you know, beyond the swimming part and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we were gonna wait till a little bit more people were present at the meeting to have to bring the topic back up. But we did look at the ordinance, and it kind of reads, and this is only my opinion, but, and I'm sure others think differently, but it's hard to tell. Does it mean, that if people are swimming there, you cannot fish? Or since this is the swimming area, you do not fish?
If you're fishing, swim somewhere else.
Yeah. So that's what we're,
I would think it would mean if you're fishing there and people come to swim, then you
Yeah.
can't fish.
probably.
Which I think most people wouldn't do that.
You know, we considered it commonsensical, kind of, it's the only sandy spot on the whole pond.
Right,
You know, you got
right.
350 degrees to fish here and
Right.
10 for swimming, so.
Yeah.
And, you know, we hadn't heard of any disagreements over there over that. so
Right, but I
don't
think they can fish, I just feel like if we put too many restrictions on it, it doesn't
Exactly.
become a pond anymore.
Well, and that was the scary part, like enforcing it too, you know?
Right, right,
Because if someone's down there swimming, you know, they can say, hey, get out of here. But if nobody's down there except the fisherman, who's gonna go down there and tell them not to do it?
right, right.
So that came up too. We had a good philosophical conversation about it.
I'm sure.
And, okay, so, the Proctor pool season opener, we had a great article in the Brandon Reporter and lots of awesome pictures. It's, well, it was downstairs, but I brought it up here. We had a big turnout this weekend. I've got the numbers from, Lisa, but, I'll probably just share them with you at our next meeting. And, the weekend before last wasn't that busy, but this past weekend was,
Here's one.
oh, yeah, so it was hopping. And then, Lisa's been giving me some really good information. She broke down the data for who's been coming up there really well. And then, you know, when you're up there, you noticed, 'cause we understand that it's kind of a native habitat, but, there is some growth happening inside the pond that makes it kind of undesirable to swim in. So I think we're gonna try to find a solution when we go in the next budget cycle of maybe how to control that, especially in the areas that are more visited, you know, by swimmers right there around the playpen and stuff. So, but you can look at a dock and that stuff's just coming right up to the top. You gotta swim through it. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, years ago, they allowed us copper sulfate to put in there, but I don't know. You had to apply for a permit.
Yeah.
They just put it in every couple of years.
Yeah, Lisa and I talked about putting a little bit of sand down, maybe a little bit further to kind of.
The town crew has done that in the
Yeah.
past, and it washes out, so,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure they could do that.
So these are just things we're exploring and learning. Well, I'm learning about. And I met with the new emergency management coordinator from the RRPC. His name is Bauer Neisner, and he's our new main contact there for everything emergency management. And he pointed me towards some EM courses through FEMA, and we talked a little bit about the grant for the generator. So I'm excited about working with Bauer here in the future.
He's with the regional commission.
So he's kind of working with Stephanie Burke now. And mosquito spraying's been going on. I've had a lot of calls about mosquito spraying. They're doing it pretty regularly. Is this like more than most, or?
You don't feel it? I feel like it was more this year so far, but maybe.
I mean, they do it based on how many they trap in.
Yeah.
Their emails imply it's a little bit more than they normally do. But
Well, we had a lot of rain this spring. And
Yeah.
I haven't really seen mosquitoes.
they have been great. My
Yeah.
kids live in West Rutland, and West Rutland needs some spray.
Really?
oh.
Proctor's golden.
Yeah, so they give me those updates. I think they're only required to give them to me like 12 hours before spraying. So they come in pretty quick. They'll say, hey, we're spraying tonight. So it's a fast turnaround for me to get that information out.
Yeah.
And, you know, really, for anybody who's keeping up with it, you can visit their website, ocwicd.com. They have all the updates. They've got tons of information about spraying on there. So ocwic.com is where you can find everything about spraying.
Yeah. Usually the notice doesn't come out till like 3 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yeah,
you know,
it's fast.
but,
I never know
Hey.
until I hear them going around. Are
They're
they?
coming tonight. Yeah, they're coming
Just
tonight.
last week.
That's what I'm telling you. I think they're coming a lot.
Oh, not last week. No.
At least
Felt like it.
less than 2 weeks ago, they were here.
Yeah.
Not last week. They came the week of the 17th.
so,
Yeah, because I'm always sitting there and I hear,
I got 2 quick ones here. Butch Shaw and I are meeting this week. He's our new rep now. So we're just gonna do a quick introduction, and I'm gonna see what his goals are. He's probably gonna see what mine are.
Excellent.
And then after Butch and I meet, we're heading down. I'm not sure if he's gonna join me or not, but we're gonna go to the renewable propane open house at Proctor Gas. That's Wednesday, I believe. RSVPs were due last week, but I'm sure they'd work something out if anybody really wanted to go.
and we got a notice of that too. Was it 1 to 3 or 11 to 1?
It's in the minutes somewhere.
Yeah.
That's right there.
Oh, here it is.
Quiet.
It is 1 to 3.
Yeah.
yeah.
And Madam Chair, that concludes my manager's report. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next up is discussion and action items for the board. So everybody signed the bills, other than Linda.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Sheriff's report. Any questions or comments on that?
Move to sign. Move to approve.
Okay. Oh, okay. So we'll go down after about the
For the contract.
contract, yeah. Unless you want to do it with this part. We'll stay in there. Okay. Appoint a cannabis control board. Any kind of discussion if people want?
So the only reason I brought this up to Michael's attention is, it just basically, from what I'm understanding and what I've read, it gives us a heads up. We can't not approve if the group tries to move in. But we do find out ahead of time if we appoint ourselves the Cannabis Control Board. That's the one benefit that I can
Yeah.
see. And other towns have done it. I think Pittsburgh just did it.
I think it'd be a good idea if the select board was.
Yeah.
It's
Even
not,
somebody from, like, not the select board, but
No, it would be-
have
it
a
would-
committee with,
It would just be like the liquor board,
okay,
that when we grant liquor licenses. It's
okay,
it'd
yeah.
be the same thing.
Yeah, because I'd hate to, I mean, I'm not all about creating another
Right.
committee that we have to,
No.
and like you said, it's like, it basically, they have to follow our guidance, our ordinances, or any charters you have to kind of, you know,
Mm-hmm.
for businesses and stuff like that. Other than that, we don't really have any control.
Right, right. So other towns have just appointed the select board as the
Okay,
cannabis
yeah.
control board.
I did reach out to VLCT about how a local commission would handle licenses, because it looked like local commissions would be in charge of that, like some kind of local license. I have no idea what that is or what it looks like, so I'm hoping they get back with me here in the next week.
So what I've read from the state is that it would be just like our liquor licenses are now. So it would just be, really, truly, the state is the one who handles this. And it's the state statute that drives everything. The only thing that we could possibly use is zoning,
Yeah,
but even that's
Very,
murky.
yeah, I saw there was an argument in there posed of whether it was considered commercial or not, so maybe just designated it to commercial areas,
Right,
so.
okay. All right, is there a motion to appoint the select board as the town of Proctor's local cannabis control commission?
so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We've already done the Bass Trail Bridge request. Renewal of the law enforcement contract.
So Sheriff Fox and I did make the changes that were requested, or we believe were requested, and we contacted Judy just to kind of say, hey, do you think this kind of reaches the mark? And I think we were in agreement that it covered our bases. It does look like a reduction in hours, but it's what was being presented before, just in a
I don't
different
think
format.
there's any changes there. No.
All right, is there a motion to accept the terms of the fiscal year 23 law enforcement contract with the Rutland County Sheriff's Office, under which an annual service fee will be paid totaling $87,360?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Fiscal year 2023 water sewer rates. Everybody has these in the packet? Is there any questions or comments? I feel like one year we spent like hours on this.
Well, the water rate actually went down, and when we reviewed it when we were doing the general fund budget before, and so it hasn't changed. But the water budget, the water
Fee?
went, oh, I'm sorry. I think I have the numbers back. Oh, sewer went down, because it didn't go down the year before, after we had ended the contract with
Simons.
Simons. So it went down, actually, it went from 500 to 475. And that puts us in a pretty, it still leaves us a very comfortable pad for our proposed sewer budget.
Good. With Zion coming in, we might want to keep in mind that they have 10 units.
Oh, yeah.
That's,
I could see them probably wanting to change that,
yeah,
but we'll see.
yeah. And, that might be a good negotiating point with you and them at some point for something else.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to approve the fiscal 23 schedule of rates and fees for Proctor's water and sewage system?
So moved.
For the
Second.
record, $5.25 per EUs for water, $4.75 per EU for sewer. Sorry.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The auditor's memorandum of understanding. Sullivan and Powers and Company.
Something to consider. We do one of these every year. They pretty much come back with the same suggestions, and we look at them. And could we live with an every other year audit? Just for comparison, The Mosquito District has been using public funds for 43 years. And they are just undergoing their first audit.
I think as a municipality, we have to audit every year.
We do?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would. want one.
This seems like, actually, we don't spend, really a ton of money actually in the end. Okay.
I think it's probably safer to do the yearly one than,
Well, I think we have to publish it in the town report, don't we?
yeah.
And plus, I'd rather catch a mistake within the year than wait, like if you had an audit later. And
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. I don't, since I've been on the board, they haven't caught a mistake. So, but anyway,
hopefully there's none hiding out there, man.
Yes.
Not by
Is there
me,
a oh.
not by me.
Is there a motion to approve the fiscal 22 audit scope and objectives agreement between the town of Proctor and Sullivan Power and Company?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Is there any other business?
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Meeting adjourned.